They joined together. They fought together. They died together. This is the heartbreaking true story of the Pals Battalions, where entire streets of men vanished in a single morning. Welcome to Historical Stories, where the past doesn't just speak, it shatters your heart. Stay until the end to hear Walter's final letter home, the words that would destroy a family and define a generation's sacrifice. The Pals Battalions, friends who fought and fell together. The recruitment office in Sheffield had been bustling with excitement on September 7th, 1914. Among the crowd stood Arthur Wilson, a 22-year-old steelworker, shoulder to shoulder with his childhood friends, Tom, the butcher's son, Harry, the schoolteacher, and Walter, who had just become a father 3 weeks prior. They had all answered the call together, joining the newly formed 12th Service Battalion, York and Lancaster Regiment, better known as the Sheffield City Battalion. The idea was simple and devastating in its innocence. Men could enlist alongside their friends, neighbours and co-workers, guaranteeing they would fight together. The British Army called them Pals Battalions. By November 1915, the romance of war had long faded. The Sheffield Pals found themselves shivering in waterlogged trenches near Serres in northern France. The once boisterous camaraderie had dulled into quiet resolve. Arthur and his friends had spent the last year training, joking, and writing letters home, assuring their families that they would look out for one another. But now, as the creeping barrage of British artillery pounded German lines in preparation for the Battle of the Somme, a sickening realization settled over them. "We're going over tomorrow," Harry whispered that night, staring blankly at the trench wall. Arthur didn't respond. He was thinking of Walter's newborn daughter, who would never know her father if the worst happened. July 1st, 1916, the day the Pals were lost. At 7:30 a.m., the whistles blew. The Sheffield Pals climbed the ladders, emerging into the open field under a bright summer sky. They had been told the artillery had wiped out the German defences. They had been told they could walk across no man's land. They had been told wrong. German machine guns, untouched by the bombardment, roared to life. Arthur saw Tom, the butcher's son, go down first, his body ripped apart before he even took 10 steps. Harry, the schoolteacher, made it halfway before a sniper's bullet struck his throat. Walter, the new father, was hit in the legs and left writhing in the mud, screaming for help that would never come. Within 30 minutes, the Sheffield Pals ceased to exist as a fighting force. Of the 720 men who went over the top that morning, 512 were killed or wounded. Entire streets in Sheffield would later receive multiple telegrams on the same day. Whole groups of friends wiped out in a single terrible morning. Arthur, miraculously unharmed, crawled back to the trench, his uniform soaked in the blood of his friends. He would later write in his diary, "We joined up together. We trained together. We were supposed to come home together. Now I am the only one left." The aftermath. Broken towns, broken hearts. The consequences of the Pals Battalion's destruction were felt far beyond the battlefield. In Accrington, another industrial town that had raised its own battalion, 584 of 720 men were killed or wounded on the same day. The local newspaper could not print the casualty lists fast enough. In Barnsley, an entire generation of young men vanished in hours. In Liverpool, the 17th Battalion, 1st City Pals, suffered so many losses that the city fell into mourning for months. The British Army quickly realised its mistake. By 1917, the Pals Battalions were disbanded and absorbed into other units. The policy of letting friends serve together had backfired horribly. Whole communities had been decimated in a single battle. The last letter home. Before the attack, Walter had given Arthur a letter to send to his wife if he didn't make it. That night, Arthur opened it, his hands shaking. It read, "My dearest Mary, if you are reading this, then I am gone. Do not weep for me. Tell our daughter that her father loved her more than life itself. And tell her that I fought beside the bravest men I ever knew, my friends." Arthur would carry that letter for the rest of his life, a legacy of brotherhood and loss. The Pals Battalions were a tragic experiment in warfare, one that proved loyalty and friendship could not stop bullets. Today, the Thiepval Memorial in France bears the names of thousands of Pals who vanished on the Somme. In Sheffield, a single plaque stands in the city centre, listing the names of men who left together, fought together, and, too often, died together. Their story is not just one of loss, but of the unbreakable bonds that tied them, even in death. The Pals Battalions proved that friendship could survive even war's darkest hour, but at a cost that shattered entire towns. Their sacrifice reminds us that heroism isn't just about battles won, but about who stands beside you when all seems lost. Next part on Historical Stories. The Harlem Hellfighters, heroes discriminated at home. The black soldiers who fought for freedom abroad, only to face hatred returning home. Subscribe and hit the bell to uncover history's untold stories. These voices demand to be heard. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next story.